All right, so there's a couple different ways to set up multiple headphone sends, right? So let's say you're working with a band, and you have a drummer, you got a bass player, you got a guitar player, piano player, singer, and they all want to hear different things, right? So if you have access to a Behringer Power Play, which I'm going to show you in the next video, which we have in Studio A, which a lot of high tech studios have, then you would use it that way. That way is probably a little bit easier unless you're I'm very familiar with this, so this is easy as well. But you also that way you have each particular instrumentalist has a mixing console, like a mini mixing console of their own. That's definitely the way you'd want to go. Now, if you're using a home studio, and obviously many of you can't afford an SSL, you may have a different type of mixing console. You can still do it the old school way. You can still do multiple headphone sends, and you don't need to spend all the big money on the Behringer Power Play. You can do this within your own console, and the way I'm going to show you right now is definitely relevant, and you can use the same techniques. All right, and that way you can still get the bass player. They only want to hear themselves and the drums. The guitar player only wants to hear the vocals and the drums and a little guitar, whatever the case. That's then now you can give them different sends. All right. Now the only thing is that you would have to have some channel strips open for that, right? So for example, channel strip 23 and 24, that's going to take up one headphone set. All right, 21 and 21 and 22. That's going to take up another one. Might as well put them stereo the way they should be. So six for three different headphone sends is already going to take up 6 tracks. That's not really a problem though, unless you're working with a huge band. But normally that shouldn't be that big of a problem. So we have 3 here that we can use. We can also use fallback A. And so let's set up 3 different headphone sends, and I will route them to this. So let's go back onto the DAW, and I'm going to go ahead. First step. Make 3 aux tracks. Stereo, aux, and we're good to go. Alright. There we go. And I just made 1. I meant to make 3. Sorry about that. Stereo 2, aux tracks. There we go. Now we got 3. And I'm going to go ahead and next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make it easier for myself. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to name them. Alright, so let's highlight all of them. And right click here, rename. HP Mix 1, alright, HP Mix 2, and then HP Mix 3. Cool? Alright, pretty simple. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go on the inputs here, and we're going to put the buses on the inputs. So we have to go and Shift Option Command. These are all highlighted. Bus, and let's go 5 and 6, and it'll just cascade right there. 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. Alright, so let me right click, rename. HP Mix 1, excuse me. Alright, let me go right here. Rename HP Mix 2. Somebody's listening to some trap music in the back. Can you turn that down a little bit? Thank you, sir. HP Mix 3. There we go. Alright, so now we have the inputs. Now I want to put the outputs. Once again, I'm going to output them onto SSL right here. Alright, we're going to output them to 23, 24. That's going to be HP Mix 3, 2, and 1. Alright, that's how I'm going to output. So let's go back to the DAW. And let's go right here. And I can just cascade that as well. And we go 1 through 16. 17 is B1. So I would go B3 and B4. Shift Option, Output. Oh, alright, so I got to go to Outputs. Let me fix this real quick. Set up IOs. And let's get rid of all these. Always happens in Studio B. I'm sure you guys are used to this. Let's go to default, and then now we should be good to go. All right, cool. So let's go. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right, Shift Option Command, output. Let's go to B3 and B4, and it will cascade, as you can see, to B3, B4, 5, 6. So that should be 19 and 20, 21, 22, and 21, 23, 23, 24 on the SSL. Okay, cool. Next step we're going to do. We got that done. Now what we have to do is highlight all the tracks, except for the master. And as you can see, a lot of these tracks are muted, so I really don't need to do all of them. But just to show you guys how to do it right, I'm going to do it. All right. So Shift Option, and I just go make sure all the tracks are highlighted. Shift Option is going to put everything the same. So if I go to Send A, I think Send A is already being used. Yeah, it is. So I'm actually going to make a new sends F through J right here. All right. And then we go Shift Option on F, and let's go Bus Headphone Mix 1. Pretty simple, and then we got all of them. Cool. Now, Shift Option on Send G, I believe that is. Go to Bus Headphone Mix 2. I don't have to do this too slow. You guys got this. Shift option. Plus headphone mix. Whoops. Headphone mix 3. Simple stuff. All right. I've been using way too much Logic in Ableton lately. But there you go. HP Mix 1, HP Mix 2, 3, and we're good to go. So now we have, this is connected to this, that's connected to that, it's connected to 3, and then they're all routed onto the SSL correctly. Now, let's see, Headphone Mix 1, instead of calling it Mix 1, I probably should have said bass player or something, but whatever. Let's say that's the bass player. And they want to hear only, let's see, they want to hear the reverbs and the hats and these breaths and the crash, right? So let me just highlight these. Oops, excuse me. And then turn this up, and then shift option, turn that up. Now, they're all going to be, I did it on all of them, so that's cool. But what you should do, you should go to the next step, which is go to View, and then you're going to go to Expanded Sends, and I'm going to go to Expanded Sends F, because that's what we're working with. Now I can actually see exactly what I'm working with. Let's say the breath, I want that breath all the way to the left. I want this one all the way to the right. And the hats I want here, these hats I want in the middle. Not me, this is going to be the bass player who's doing it. So he or she is going to be telling me what they want exactly, how they want. I want the hats here and blah, blah, blah. Now you can do it. You can do everything right here. And you can send it the way that you want to send it. And if I play this, and I solo it right here, excuse me, right here. All right, yes, you want to show them. So I'll solo this. Now this is what is on their headphone send. All right, why a bass player would only want to hear this, I have no idea. But just for the example, that's how you would send that. So that's 19 and 20. So you go ahead. Let's go back on here. Let me go back to the view. Give you time. You good?
Yeah.
Cool. Go back to the view, and let's go back to send G. And let's send G. Wait, did I do F? Yeah, FGH. So let's go view, expand the sends, turn the send F off. Now we're on send G. Okay, cool. Now send G is going to be the snare player, whatever the case. I just said snare player. And they only want to hear the snares, the vibra slap, and the chimes, right? So same thing. You just turn them, shift option, turn these ones up, and then from there you can turn this one. They say the chimes is too loud, the vibra slap is too. It wants to be more quiet. You turn that down, and then the same exact thing when I play this. So that's what the snare player is going to hear. Chimes are about to happen right now, and the vibra slap is right there. And that's how you set that up. And you do the same thing for 23 and 24. That's how you set it up in the DAW. Now after that, you have to go on to the patch bay and set it up correctly as well. We got to go out of the patch bay, out of these tracks, these channels right here, and into the different headphone sends on the patch bay, the headphone inputs. So we're good to go. Yeah, you want to just show them real quick? So we're going to be going out of here, and then on the patch bay right over here. We're going to do that in the next video. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. But this is what you do on the DAW. This is the first step, and you should be good to go. It's relatively easy, and you can watch the video. I have a PDF as well, and you don't need to spend all that crazy money on the Behringer Power Play. But I'm going to show you how to do that as well, just in case you work in any of those studios and you have that option. Now we have on the SSL, channel 19 and 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Those are the 3 headphone sends, right? So this is simple. You guys are second-year students, so I probably didn't even need to do this little demonstration on the patch bay. You probably already are doing this, figured it out. But just in case you have questions, just like normal, go out, outs over ins, 23 and 24. And we're going to skip fallback A because we're cool with that. Let's go to headphone amp B right here, which is in Studio B Live Room, right? So now we got headphone amp B. And we could set up another headphone amp on E and F as well. We would have to go and plug it in and do all that other good stuff, but we could set that up there. Or we can say we can go into the percussion room, and so 21 and 22 right here, right? I should probably have cut this, all right. And we go into the percussion room, and we have B, A and B booth lines, and C and D. So let me go and do that. 20 outs into D. So now we have the FBA and the headphone amp B going into the live room, right? So you got two musicians there, and then in the percussion room you got 2 more musicians. And then you can do more. You just would have to set it up. You'd have to set up E and F right here. And you can also use the fallback B at the studio room, just turn the speakers off and plug headphones directly into the mixer in there, and you could do it that way as well. So you have a lot of different options here, and then like I said, everything I'm showing you right here is going to be relevant to the way you are setting it up at your home studio. Even if you're using a mixing console that's 1/20th the price of an SSL, you could still do different headphone sends just by routing things correctly. If you know how to do this, you should know how to do it in your home system. If or your home studio, or whatever the case. And that's pretty much it. That's the old school way of doing the headphone sends. Now I'm going to show you using the Behringer Power Play, which is a lot faster. I won't say it's faster, but the listener has a little bit more control with the the panning and the EQing and whatnot. Not excuse me, not the listener, the instrumentalist. So I'm gonna show you that, and that's pretty much it. All right, cool.